Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 10 edition of the Friday Night Insight with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Johnny Parlay.
That's right. I don't know about the myth. I never understood that statement. The man, the myth, the legend.
Well, because you're so great that in some people's eyes you're just a myth because they will never even see you.
I know
so
myth
they don't
people.
even know.
You come here, you see me face to face. I know myth.
In the flesh.
I'm the man.
At the Spread Studios.
I'm mystical more than mythical. So the man, the mystic. That don't sound that great.
The mystic legend.
Yeah, that sounds a little cheesy.
A little fluffy for me.
Well, speaking of cheesy, let's start this show, baby.
Please believe. Steelers preview. What did you think of the game? Big Ben lighting it up.
He's on fire. I don't know who they think they are. They look excellent, to tell you the truth. And I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago where I was saying, just say they're not good.
Yeah.
And you said it.
I finally said
eventually.
it. And
now
then now
I'm
they're great.
It. They're good.
They're good. Please believe. Thank you.
They're good for the moment.
Thank you.
For the moment. They love to disappoint. And I see that coming down the pike, to tell you the truth.
It could happen. 6-3 though at this point in the year is just where I thought they'd be. They didn't win and lose the exact games that I thought they would, but it's a nice record to be sitting at right now. You have 2 games going into New York and against Tennessee that you should be able to win. If you're sitting at 8-3, and I think we have a bye week after that, going into the bye week, I mean, come on. That's great position for the season. That my prediction of 11-5 actually still has a shot when I thought it was dead 3 weeks ago.
They certainly have the table set. I will say that.
The turkey's on the table, as Mike Lang would like to say.
Turkey's on the table, and Grandma's about to carve it up.
Please
A
believe.
little early for turkey, though. That's a couple more weeks.
Oh, I can't wait.
I do. I love turkey, too. I think Thanksgiving's my favorite, even though I tend to get a little too tipsy and embarrass myself in front of the whole family.
Yeah, it's
But
all right.
that's what Thanksgiving's all about. It should be called forgiveness giving.
Please believe.
Give me forgiveness for how I act on this day.
Well, you usually have a little gathering at your house later in the evening on Thanksgiving, correct?
I do, but I'm getting a little up in years, and I've been cutting it off lately.
Well, if you have this gathering, guess who will actually be able to attend this year because his new job allows him to?
All the spread fans.
All the Spread fans and the host, Mr. Jim Cella.
We could do a remote.
Please believe.
Live.
Satellite studios at Johnny Parlay's house.
The Turkey Hangover Show.
The turkey.
Yeah, let's do that. The
That would
leftovers.
It would definitely get a little slurred in our speech, I think.
Yeah, you fans, you want to come? Hit
Believe
me
it.
up. Hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread.
We'll give you our Skype address, and you can Skype us and just watch what we do the whole time.
Skype us. Come by. I don't care. House ain't big, but you know what? It's nice. It'll fit in the spread fans. That's for dang sure.
It's open to all fans of the spread.
And we'll have some leftover stuffing for y'all.
Big, tall, no, because I like
And
stuffing,
actually,
so
I'm
I'm
going
eat
to
it
keep
all.
that for myself. I'll give.
I'll find
you
that
can have
stuffing.
the leftover sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I don't eat sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Why do people like those so much?
Don't get it. It's not a potato, really. I don't
No.
know why it's called a sweet potato.
Nope, it's not good.
Vegetables aren't supposed to be sweet.
Nope, they're supposed to be gross, and
Fruits,
then you eat them
sweet.
anyway.
Fruits are fruity and they're sweet. No,
Fruits are
No
fruity.
one wants to deal with that. Well, back to the sport talk.
Back
I
to
guess.
sports. Did you hear Jerry Rice said that Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver in the game?
I didn't hear that. I wasn't listening for it. When did he say that?
I think it was yesterday. It might have been it was this time, sometime this week. I heard him talking about it. I mean, he's not saying he's the best receiver of all time or anything, and obviously everybody knows Calvin Johnson isn't playing right now with the injury. That's not taking anything away from Antonio Brown. His workout regimen is matched by nobody in the locker room, from what I hear. And pretty much the reason they let him get that record, a few weeks back when we were all complaining about it, is because everybody in the locker room just loves this guy so much. They say he works so hard that if anybody deserved it, he did.
I mean, he backs it up. So what can you really say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as he's still playing well in the field, leading the league in catches, yards, and third and touchdowns, can we really hate on the dude?
No, he's playing great along with the rest of the team. But what do you think is going to happen in New York this weekend?
I think the Steelers are going to win. I think they're going to eke it out.
How is this spread? Started at 5. It's down to almost 3. I think it's almost I think it's about 3.5 right now.
Yeah.
That's sort of dumbfounding to me. I don't think the Jets, they've won one game, and they've lost 7?
8.
8. And how many of those games have they lost by less than
Huge
3?
amount.
I don't understand it. So someone sees something. Someone knows something. But I thought that with the Indy game. I thought Indy -3 when they played
the Giants.
I thought that was pretty low. And this one seems pretty low. And that did end up being very low because Indy blew them out. And I think the Steelers will probably do the same thing this week. They'll probably blow them out.
I think the biggest thing is Michael Vick is the quarterback now, and all those games they lost were with Geno. I know Vick didn't play that great last week. He didn't really get a lot of time to prepare. He hasn't been practicing with the first teamers, so he's got to build some rapport and some rhythm with them. And Michael Vick has been tough against the Steelers through his whole career. He's the type of guy that if you blitz him too hard from the outside and he's able to step up and get a little bit of room, in the middle of the field, he's going to run all around and kill you. We have a history of over-pursuing and allowing a mobile quarterback to do that to us, so I think that definitely helps.
Well, he's getting up there in age, I think, don't you?
Oh, he's definitely not the Michael Vick of old.
He's not that Atlanta
He's
Falcons
not going to be running down any pit bulls to drown them anymore because he's a terrible human being.
Can't catch up to him.
But all that said, he's still a way better quarterback than Geno Smith. Geno shouldn't have been starting from the beginning.
I'm surprised that guy's in the NFL.
He's so bad. He's just really lost it right now. He has no confidence. So I think the biggest reason you see the line shifting a little bit is because people know that Michael Vick he was at least above average for most of his career.
Well, it's that, and it's probably all those New Yorkers, those crazy Jets fans putting down their weekly pay on the Jets. And that's probably pushing that line down. They think they're going to take out the Steelers. I don't think so. And you know that all those Jersey folk are going to Vegas all the time, messing with that line. They're out in Vegas dancing their hoochie butts off with their ladies, spending their money, spending their retirement in Vegas because that's the kind of people that live in Jersey. Sorry, you Jerseyites. I don't think too many of you listen, but if you do, you know I'm speaking the truth. I don't lie to you people, and it's the truth.
I think another reason that this line is shifting a little bit is because Pittsburgh on the road is complete garbage this year. They've only scored 33 combined points in the Cleveland, Baltimore, and Jacksonville game. Wow. So outside of...
I've told you before I'm not that great at math, but I think that's an average of 11.
Outside of the Carolina game where we put 37 on them and ran for 500,000 yards.
Well, that was a primetime game, and everyone shows up for those.
Yeah, Ben loves primetime. The Steelers love primetime.
That's a crazy stat. Who provided you with that stat?
Mr. Stat Genius Extraordinaire, the best producer in the business, Jay Dash.
How about that? Interesting stat. I can't believe that. 33 points in 3 games total. That's terrible. And did they win any of those games? No.
They lost to Cleveland, they lost to Baltimore, and they beat Jacksonville. They barely beat Jacksonville. 17-10.
So, 17 in that game. So that only leaves, what, Jim? 16 for the remaining 2?
Yeah, well, 6 in Baltimore and I guess 10 in Cleveland, right?
Terrible.
Pretty bad.
Hold on. Let me get my calculator out. You're right.
I am right.
You're right about that. Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't see how they lose this game, but when I say that, you know what to do, people. Just push that money towards the Jets. I don't know. Seems fishy. I don't know. The Steelers look like the best team in the league over the last 2 weeks.
If you listen to our Steelers preview show that we have posted already, you know that I picked the Steelers to win this game. It wouldn't surprise me if we won this game 12-7, 15-3. Hey, 4 field goals, man. I could see Ben not throwing 1 touchdown pass.
I'm thinking like 21-10, but what do I know?
Who knows? The only people that know are the people who are going to play the game.
Well, that game is in the United States, isn't it?
Yes, we actually are playing on U.S. soil, even though most games are getting shipped over to Europe nowadays. But yeah, these games over in London, I don't like it.
Do they care? Do you know anyone?
They go.
What are they, Londonese?
Londonites.
Londonites, Londonese?
Londoneers.
Do they care? I mean, what's the attendance like at these games?
They sell out, but if it's only a few games a year, it's a special event. If they put a team over there like I want to, that's 8 games a year over there. That's too many teams flying across the ocean. That's too many expenses to do all this. It's stupid.
They're forcing it down people's throats.
If you want to expand to another country, try to just go to Canada. And I know they have the Canadian Football League, but you can't tell me they've been trying to move Buffalo to Toronto. Like some of these, 1 or 2 markets in Canada could definitely handle an NFL franchise. I don't like London. It's stupid.
How about Japan?
No.
Football.
Football. Hey, throw the ball.
Throw the ball.
Hey.
Oh, very, very violent.
I know karate. I know kick him in throat.
I just don't see it working anywhere other than the good old U.S. of A.
That's right. It's American football for
We
a
like
reason.
our thugs, and we like them on our own soil.
Everybody else calls soccer football, so you can't have football and football.
Right. They have
Oh, I'm
their
going to
own
the football game. Oh, Manchester United. No, I'm going to the Dallas Cowboys game.
It's just like how when they bring soccer here, there was a soccer game in Heinz Field this year. It
Yeah,
doesn't work
it was
here.
weird.
It's not going to work. Our sport is not going to work there. Their sport is not going to work here.
Well, let's talk about a sport that does work here, hockey. I
Works
love
here,
hockey.
It works Canada, and we know it.
That's right. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on fire this year. They're
Hey.
9-2-1. They got 19 points on the season. They're first in the Eastern Conference, and they're third in the league. Crosby's on fire, as usual, leading the league with 19 points. What do you got to say about this Pens team other than, wow?
Honestly, nothing. There's not much to talk about other than they're unstoppable at the moment. I can't even name a weakness if I try, to tell you the truth. Although I always say Fleury as a weakness, although he looks lights out so far. And I know I'll catch a lot of flack about the Fleury thing, but you got to lead it back to 2 stars, 1 cup. And with Fleury, everyone thinks he's a star. That's 3 stars, 1 cup. I never even seen that video. But anyway you look at it, you got to show up in the playoffs. He's a great regular season goalie. My buddy Jay Payne says it all the time. He's a regular season phenom, but you got to make it happen when it counts. And it's nowhere near when it counts at this point.
Well, your boy Fleury just got a new 4-year, $23 million contract.
I saw that.
Is that good or bad to you?
It depends. Maybe if you bench him in the playoffs, it's a great idea. Sure, let him get you there and then sit him on the bench.
Hey, he's leading the league in shutouts right now and second in wins with 8. This guy
When? Right now.
Right now, yeah, and
Right
I get
now.
that. But last year, what was the reason we lost in the playoffs? Was it Fleury? No. They might have lost because of
Everything
him
last year.
the year or two before, but they did not lose because of him last year. He played well. He had that one game where he mishandled the puck and we lost in the first round.
That
Other
one
than that,
game.
he played solid in all those other games.
Well, Jay Dash hasn't had to bust out that soundbite I told him to keep of Fleury struggled yet. Since that day, I don't believe. But I think they're pretty unstoppable at the moment. Can't complain. Nothing to complain about. He locked up a new deal. I wonder what he's going to buy with his nice little contract. What would you buy, Jim?
A whole lot of Arnold Palmer iced tea.
Yeah, you could buy him out of the Hermione store.
I would just buy Arnold Palmer, or the Arizona brand. I'd just buy it. I'd be like, you know
could
what?
buy-
Now you're producing me the iced tea.
You could buy Arnie Palmer to come over here.
That's right.
Make him.
I'd give him $1 million to come over and make me an Arnie Palmer special.
He could fly here. He got a pilot license, you know.
The Pens are on fire, just like I said. Kunitz is 4th in the league with 8 goals. Fleury's leading in shutouts, 2nd in wins. Crosby's leading in points. Their power play is absolutely killing it. They're clicking at 37.2%. The next closest in the league's only at 29.3%.
That's a turnaround, right?
They led the league in penalty power play last year. Their penalty kill struggled early in the year, but they got it up to 5th in the league now at 87.8%.
Wasn't their penalty their power play, wasn't it terrible in the playoffs? Wasn't
Yeah,
one of their
that's what
weaknesses?
killed us. One of the biggest things that killed us against the Rangers. We only scored like 1 or 2 power play goals in the whole series. Dan Bylsman's system just did not fit the Penguins very well. He let Malkin and Crosby just kind of float around on the same side of the ice.
How much the success is due to this new coach, you think?
Most of it.
Yeah,
Because the
you really
players,
think that?
the players that are there, they've been successful. It's if now you got to put them in the better situation to be more successful. They've done it in the regular season. Right now, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're learning how to play the system that they need to play in the playoffs to win. They know they're going to make it.
It's good
8
insight.
teams make it in the Eastern Conference. They know they're going to make it. They're going to be one of the top 3
Yeah.
teams in the East.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty bad to not make the playoffs in the NHL.
Right. So they have to go out and learn how to play the game that's going to win them the cup, and that's what they're doing. None of those long stretch passes. The breakouts are right now. They're moving as a whole unit, all 5 players. They're playing better defense in front of Fleury. They don't just leave him out to dry. He doesn't have 5, breakaways a game against the poor guy.
You're
So-
all over it. I'm telling you, that's some great Friday night insight.
All these things, you put together. You have the additions of Blake Comu and Steve Downey and Marcel Gottsch last year, Hornquist last year, Sutter's.
Horny.
Horny. Yeah, okay. That's a great comment here because all hockey players they
A
get
compliment
Cookie,
from Jim.
Stalzy. Now, can we call him horny? Are we allowed to do that?
I would imagine.
I mean, they love to do that with hockey player. They call Scuderi Scudsy, so we're just going to call him Horny.
The old 2-9er's all over nicknames, and he has no shame. I imagine he's going to be calling him the Horny there.
The Horny man.
So, yeah, call him Horny.
All right, well, that's it. We're just going to call him Horny.
Done and done.
Hey, let's take a little lighter note here real quick. Ole Matta just had his surgery last week, a couple days ago, for that thyroid cancer. We wish you all the luck in the world, Matta, on your comeback.
Yeah, Ole, get well soon, buddy.
Yeah, please believe. You're a great player. You're a great person. The organization loves you. The town loves you. We hear it's not a terrible surgery to have. And
the spread loves you.
The spread does love you. There's no good cancer to have, but, from what I've read up on this topic, that's the easiest one to catch early and get rid of.
Great.
So we wish you well, Matta.
While you're on the
show.
show.
A speedy return.
Backlog
Whenever you get
some
back.
of the spread episodes.
Hey, if you need help, you let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. We can get our boy Brandon to help you out. He's an athletic trainer.
That's right. He knows all, sees all. Call us up. We'll have you as a guest even. How
That's
about
right.
that?
We'll have Brandon and Matt on at the same time, and Brandon can talk to him and tell him what he needs to do to recover.
Do it, baby.
Well, speaking of Brandon, I ran into him earlier today, and I was able to sit down and talk about the Tony Romo injury a little bit. Romo hurt his back. He has 2 chipped vertebrae and a small fracture in his back. The injury got
So he says.
Yeah,
He just needs one of those Korean massages, I think. He'll be fixed right up. Chop, chop, mush, squeeze, squeeze, back to work.
Well, it was re-injured 2 weeks ago, and Brandon Whedon had to start last week. They're over in London against Jacksonville, so I was able to sit down with Brandon and talk to him a little bit about this interview. We're going to go ahead and play it for you. I hope you guys all enjoy it. Well, thanks, Brandon, for coming on the show. We always love having you on here. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on again.
Hey, man, I love it. As long as I don't have to sit here and listen to Dash complain all day, I'm having a good time.
Absolutely.
So did you get to follow this Tony Romo injury at all?
I have, yeah. It's definitely an interesting injury. Feel bad for the guy. He's kind of dealt with back problems for a while now.
Yeah, poor Romo. I'm not really a huge fan of his, but that poor guy has dealt with a lot of injuries through his life. He's a pretty tough SOB because he usually is playing through these injuries. So to see him sit out last week with the 2 chipped vertebrae and a fracture in his lower back was pretty surprising.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not a Cowboys fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't want to see any players really get hurt in general. So.
Well, the doctors have been saying it's more of a pain thing, not necessarily something that could be re-injured or, affect his long-term health. They're also saying it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to begin to heal. That's a long time. We both know he's not going to sit out 6 to 8 weeks. So he's pretty much going to be playing with this pain for the rest of the season. And now I know players are tough, especially, players from the older generation. And they want to be out there, every down. They don't want to miss it. If they can stand up, they're going to tell you that they're healthy enough to play. But what about their long-term health? Do you think players maybe think about that a little more today than, say, 30 years ago?
Well, I think in general, because these guys are so competitive, they always want to play. The public usually makes the case saying that because they're getting paid so much money that they should play, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Working in the NFL for a short time, I know that athletes did all they could to get back on the field regardless of what their motivation is. I think long-term health is being looked at more now for concussions than it was in previous years. I also think that players are more willing to play through these musculoskeletal injuries, and they don't think much about the future consequences of, say, backs, knees, that kind of stuff.
Now, a lower back injury has to affect more than just his back, because I know if my back's sore, my whole body's sore. Those lower back muscles, they're kind of part of your core group of muscles. So do you think the pain in that lower back is going to make him compensate and affect his throwing motion? Maybe lean a little way, in or out of the throw?
Well, that's absolutely possible. Like you mentioned, your back is part of your core, and everything that your body does is affected by your core stability. Your extremities can't function adequately without your core. With that being said, I think it's appropriate to look at the actual injury. He has 2 fractures to the transverse processes of vertebrae in his low back. This is no doubt going to be painful. We've talked in previous segments that normal bone healing takes between 6 to 8 weeks for full healing to occur. But because of the musculature surrounding the injury, it has to be a stable injury or they wouldn't allow him to play. it is going to affect his game in some way, whether it takes a little off his throws or makes him a little bit more cautious in the pocket. But after hearing what the injury actually is, I think you can understand why.
Well, I'm guessing they're going to shoot him up with, what is it, cortisone, I think that they use. How strong is that medicine, and how much does it really help? Is it, really just kind of make you feel better for the game, and then after the game you're in excruciating pain? Does it help you throughout the rest of the day?
Well, my guess is that he's probably already had a cortisone shot, which is an injection done into a joint to help relieve pain and inflammation. It is a type of steroid, so it is a good way to reduce pain in the short term, but really it only acts as a Band-Aid. It might be used to get a player through a couple weeks or through the rest of the season, but it's not actually going to fix the problem. It's going to help the symptoms. Most teams on game day will use a medication which is called Toradol, and it's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. If used appropriately, the drug does not have any major side effects and is really good for controlling pain, but it's a much more short-term, you use it for that day, and it really only works for a day or so. But Toradol really doesn't have any major side effects. Like I said, if your people are using it correctly and the team doctors are administering it properly, these guys aren't really going to have any long-term issues. Circulatory issues could occur if someone was abusing the drug, but these guys are smart about how they're handling everything.
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question. What are the long-term effects from this type of medicine? And in general, I mean, obviously these guys are out there killing themselves on the field, so they got to be on some kind of other pain medicine. Is that an accepted culture? Is it like almost, mid-season, all these guys are beat up? Are they all on pain medicine?
Well, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question without, being there, but
Right.
Just in general, at least, I work in the NCAA, we don't really use a lot of pain medication. We'll use Tylenol, things like that, but most of our prescription drugs are some type of anti-inflammatory because we want to help calm down the injury. We want to help calm down the inflammation that's surrounding whatever problem. And then through, the treatment process, whether we're doing ice, rehab, that's where we're really creating most of our pain relief. We will use narcotic painkillers, stuff like that, post-surgery, but only, again, for a couple days and really just as guys need it. I don't think that this kind of stuff is being used a whole lot anymore. And again, this is really just coming from my perspective, and I think it's a good thing because we don't want people, in any realm, especially in the NFL, getting addicted to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, if like back in the day, if they're getting Vicodin after every game or even during the games, it could be really easy for these guys to get hooked on this stuff. They're giving their body out there, so I definitely would be trying to get something if I was out there getting that beat up.
Yeah, and these are the kind of reasons why we don't use that stuff during a game. Vicodin, narcotic medication, is gonna, it's gonna affect your equilibrium. It's gonna affect, what you can do when you're on that medication. So we definitely would never give that to an athlete in the middle of a game, and we try not to really give it out at all. That's why we're using, lower level painkillers like Tylenol, ibuprofen, that sort of stuff, Aleve, all those things that are not addictive but are still gonna work.
That Dr. Brandon, man, he could help me out. I got a lot of ailments, especially on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I don't know, a bunch of dehydration going on. Maybe he could help me out with that.
He can rehydrate you. You know what? Ironically, one of his favorite movies is The Waterboy, and he kind of looks like Adam Sandler. I tell him this all the time. It's so funny. I've wanted him to be the Waterboy for Halloween every year that I've known him, and he won't do it.
I imagine he doesn't take too kindly to that comment.
Well, I didn't say he was stupid like the Waterboy.
Who said the Waterboy's stupid?
The Waterboy.
He knows how to hydrate people.
He went to college.
Yes, he did. I would have drafted him for my fantasy
Fantasy
trainer.
Waterboy team.
Yeah. Speaking of fantasy, I smoked J Dash again. I got to throw the dude a bone. It's getting out of hand here.
This poor bastard's getting killed. His fantasy team's garbage. Your fantasy team's beating him up. I'm beating him up on the radio. He's yelling at me because I made a joke earlier on a segment. He's giving me the finger right now because I said his name. And
we
I
don't
said,
want to tick him off because he is the brains behind the spread.
He's going to get a hold of those darts you use for your dartboard segment here in a couple minutes, and he's going to stick one of them right in my arm.
That's right. Tweet J Dash at the spread people and say, we appreciate the work you're doing because he's really...
all the hard work.
He's the wheels on the Corvette that is me and James Cella.
Believe it. The spread doesn't exist without Dash. All the hard work this poor guy does, all the research he puts in. Everything we say on this show comes from him. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I just read stuff here, and I got a good voice. That's the only reason why I'm behind the mic.
and I'm back here because I look good.
Believe it.
You can't see that.
He's the good looks. I'm the good voice, and Dash is the brains. So
that's why we need to do
that's the dynamic.
We did want to do a live show down on Carson Street. That way you can see the faces behind the voices.
Please believe.
And maybe we can get some free drinks from like the Southside Saloon or something.
I may not be better at talking than Mark Madden, but I'm definitely better looking than Mark Madden. I'll tell you that.
I should hope so.
I don't weigh 800 pounds.
Sorry, Super Genius.
I love you, Super Genius.
Follow us, Super Genius.
Follow us, Mark Madden. Bet_the spread, because I follow you and I tweet you all the time and you don't answer me.
Yeah, bet_the spread. Speaking of betting, let's do that dartboard
thing. Get that dartboard. Chuck it.
Now, last week we hit it. We didn't mention it because we had other things on our mind, but we did throw the dart, and this is no joke. I wouldn't lie to my people out there. It did land on New England, Denver, and that went over. So the dartboard is 2-1. The
2-1 for the year.
Over/under dartboard is 2-1 for the year, and we'll
OUDB.
Let's see if it goes 3-1 for the year.
Get it again. Here, let me get out of the way. Hold on, man.
Grab that dart from Jay Dash because he was aiming it right at your eyes. It's a good thing you got your glasses on today. All right, winding it up.
What is it?
What's it say?
Baltimore, Tennessee.
Yep. Baltimore, Tennessee, over/under 44. Over. Enough said, right? I mean, what else can you say?
You got to go with it. But the only thing that scares me is Zach Mettenberger is at quarterback for Tennessee now.
Listen to the dart, though.
2-1 for the year. Every other game goes over. Might as well just take it.
The only member of the spread staff that is above 500 on picks is the dartboard. So, what can we say, people?
It knows more than we do.
Listen to the dart. And speaking of getting above 500, I think our pick of the weeks are pretty...
Hey, my picks of the week are over 500. Dash said I was winning, and when he gives me a compliment, you know it's the truth.
We're going to have to backlog and find out what our actual pick of the week records are, but I don't think they're too shabby, to tell you the truth.
I picked the Colts at least 4 times and the Jags once, so I'm like 4 or 5 in a row here.
If anyone out there is keeping track of our pick of the weeks, let us know on the Facebook page.
Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up our email. Our email is thespread00@gmail.com. You can always check us out there.
Nice. Send your questions in.
Believe it.
You want to know about the ins and outs of the spread, how it works?
You want the behind-the-scenes footage? We got that.
Throw us a donation while you're at it. Get this studio looking professional.
That's right. We need it.
Looks better every week, though, people. Just like the show gets better every week, right?
Right.
Crickets. Yeah, it gets better every week. It's going to get better for you guys right now when we give you the pick of the week.
Pick of the week. My pick of the week is the Detroit Lions. They're favored by 2.5. They're going to put in some hard work. They're playing well, but I don't know. On the road, I don't really like Miami. Detroit at home, their defense is stud. I'm sticking with the Lions.
Go what you got to do, son.
Need it.
I'm going to take a risky one, as I did last week. I took the St. Louis Rams, who would have thunk it. But, yeah, they took care of business. They didn't even need their 10 points. They won the game outright. And this week, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars +7.
Another underdog. You love those dogs.
Who's Jacksonville +7 in London? Why not?
Believe it. You got to...
They're going to have a belly full of tea.
Tony Romo is either going to be so beat up he can't play or Brandon Whedon's going to come in. So I could definitely see him covering this.
I'm saying first play of the game, first defensive stand of the game for Jacksonville. Do a blitz all. Just hit that fool. Hit him one time, he'll be out, right?
Just put your worst defensive player in there to karate kick him in the back.
Pull the Madden 94 punt block.
That's right.
And just bring everyone. If you give up you'll probably give up a touchdown, because he'll just huck it to the sideline to the receiver. But who cares? It's worth it. Take him out of the game, right? Last London game, Falcons fell to the Lions. And I'm telling you, a Lion beat a Falcon. Duh. And this week, a Jaguar could definitely take down a Cowboy. A stupid Cowboy.
Yeah, with their stupid six-shooter.
And you got to think in London, they ain't too smart over there. They're just thinking which animal would win this fight.
Poppycock.
And they were right with the Falcon game. First London game, no Falcon's going to beat a Lion. In this game, no Cowboy with his lasso is going to beat a Jaguar. Jaguars are fast.
What if he has a bolo? You know what those things are?
Is that like...
the string with the balls on the end, so you throw it and it wraps you up and you fall down.
I'm not a country boy like you. I don't know that stuff, Jim.
All right.
But, yeah, Jaguars, take them, baby. +7, why not? What about Jay Dash going to give us a pick this week, or is he just going to give you the bird?
The brains to this train is going with Arizona, -6.5. He loves Bruce Arians, Uncle Bruce, like we were saying before. He loves his Uncle Bruce. He's always picking him, always talking about him, always saying he's going to see him in Arizona. I just thought he had this old guy that retired to Arizona.
No, he really loves. All you hear about Uncle Bruce.
Uncle Bruce.
Uncle Bruce.
That's right. I'm going to hang out with Uncle Bruce next time because Arizona's on fire at 7-1. Dash is on fire with his picks of the week. He's on fire with giving me the finger in there. So, hey, we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, you got in Dash we trust.
In Dash we trust. That's a great motto. That should be the motto of the show.
Well, in the spread you should trust, baby, right?
Please believe.
It's been a great week. I'm going to dip out a little early this week.
Uh-oh. Parlay's on the prowl.
It gets dark early now.
I know. You're not allowed. You're scared of the dark.
I don't like
The
it.
street lights come on, you get a little nervous.
I don't like driving in it. I don't like walking around in it. I just like getting in my robe and watching the Friday night programs.
Get them programs.
Snuggle up with the spread if you're listening.
That's right. Thanks for listening to us. You can follow us at bet_the_spread. Check out our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Invoke everything the spread. We're going to have some shirts for sale. You guys can hit us up. We'll send you one. Everybody loves it.
Go get your shine box.
Peace.